here in Marshfield. Joining us now live on the South Shores Morning News, we have special guest Plymouth County District Attorney Tim Cruz. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Good morning, Christine.
Coming in through the rain, I give you credit. There was a real downpour you walked through.
Yeah, there was.
You know, during this time of year, we've talked before about a lot of families having graduation parties, there's prom parties, lots of great things going on. And if people are not aware of the social host rule and what that means and what the liability is, I think it's a good reminder, because as I was looking through some background information, I didn't know that penalties were so high with the criminal penalties for a child and a parent, and civil liability too.
Right.
I mean, you lose all the way around if there's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's a great time of the year, with graduations and proms. Tomorrow night, I think, is the Situate prom. And it's a great time for kids to have, lifetime memories. But it's really important for us, I think, to talk to our kids and make sure that our kids understand that, actions have consequences, and that we as parents also, our actions have consequences. We deal with lots of parents that want to be friends with their kids, and they say, okay, well, we're going to have a pre-prom party or a pre-graduation party, but we're going to have alcohol, but it's going to be in moderation and it's going to be under supervision. Well, the bottom line is this: it's illegal. You cannot do it. You cannot provide alcohol to minors, period. And if you do, there's a litany of penalties that can come against you, whether it be contributing to the delinquency of a minor, which goes up to a year in jail, plus other fines and things such as that. You put your kids in a bad spot with a minor transporting alcohol, if they move the alcohol. There's many different issues that are going on criminally, and you're right, and civilly, the responsibilities are potentially huge and incredibly damaging.
Because I remember years ago covering this, and I can't really remember what town it was where this first came into play after this was passed. This was back, I think, during the era of Frank Hines being the state rep, where there was ended up being a fatality after one of these parties, and I believe there was jail time for people, but there was also a big civil trial, and that was millions in damages.
It was, and people lost their homes over it. And once again, people, many times, parents want to have parties at their homes, and they invite their kids and their friends over there, and they do what they think is the right thing. Oh, we're going to take all the kids' keys. We're going to make sure nobody can drive away. But the case law is clear now that if you provide alcohol at one of these parties and somebody leaves that party and somebody gets hurt or killed, you will be civilly responsible for that. And then you're going to be sued. And whether or not you actually provide the alcohol, because that's really a key thing in the civil case now, even if you don't, I guarantee you that when you get sued by a number of individuals, you'll be looking as if you had provided it, and you'll have to defend that with your homeowner's policy and also maybe right out of your pocket, because the damages are so extensive. I mean, what is the value of a young child or a young teenager, young adult getting killed because of the fact that you provided alcohol and they're underage and they went out and hurt themselves or hurt somebody else? The damages are incredible, and you're right, there's been civil judgments in the millions of dollars. People have lost their homes, and there's also criminal responsibility. So what it is a lose-lose situation. We need to be parents. We need to be friends with our kids when they're 25, not when they're 15, and we need to be parents up until that time.
Do you think a lot of people are still not even aware that this is actually the law? I
think people are unaware, and I think people still want to do what they can do to stay friendly with their kids, and that's why, unfortunately, I often go to schools and talk about social hosts and talk to parents about it, and people will then ask me, well, do you think it's okay if we go at the prom, we're going to get the kids their own room, and therefore they want to have privacy, and you know what's going to happen. You know that kids are smarter than we are, and they can actually work their way around things. And there's something potentially, and especially now, it's not just alcohol anymore. It's marijuana. It is the other drugs that are out there that are so dangerous, and that the kids are facing challenges that we never faced growing up. And that's why I think we as parents have to be much more on top of our kids.
Absolutely. If people have any questions about this or any other issues that the Plymouth County DA's office deals with, what do you recommend? How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can always call us at 508-584-8120. And if you want to find information about what we're doing, or also a lot of literature that we have online, go to PlymouthDA.com. And there's actually social host information on there. It describes the penalties. It describes what can happen civilly. And it I think, gives you a better understanding that, proceed with caution. Let's make sure that our kids have a great time. They have great memories. But, unfortunately, terrible things can happen. And we as parents have a responsibility, I think, to tell our kids to be very, very careful.
That's Plymouth County District Attorney Tim Cruz. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
We'll be back with traffic and weather right after this.